Animation has always been about expression, and nothing expresses humanity like a good crash out. Those moments when a character's entire emotional world collapses and for the first time, you see their truth. From silent tears to full-on screaming meltdowns, every outburst tells you something real. And today, I'm ranking them all. Every valid, justified, and heartbreakingly human crash out in animation.
Hello? You're a stinky dancer, and anything that you come up with is gonna be stinky. You'll never be like your mom. Never.
Look, I need to be real with you. This isn't about whether Lilo was justified, because honestly, she was. Myrtle brought up her dead mom during a petty fight about a dance class. That's the kind of low blow that makes you see red. And yeah, when I first saw this scene, I was rooting for her. I wanted Lilo to land every single punch because we've all been there. We've all wanted to snap back at the people who made us feel worthless. But here's why she's at the bottom. As a crash out, it just doesn't have the weight. Don't get me wrong, Lilo's carrying real trauma. She's grieving her parents, she's completely isolated, and she's watching her sister struggle to keep them together. So when someone weaponizes that pain, of course she explodes. That's what happens when you're a kid who doesn't know how to process a hurricane of emotions. You lash out, you swing, but it's still a kid crash out. It's impulsive, it's immediate, and it's over in seconds. There's no spiraling descent, no calculated revenge, no moment where Lilo becomes unrecognizable. She just punches a bully. Then Nani pulls her off, and life moves on.
Why do you fucking shut me out? Why do you shut the world out? What are you so fucking afraid of? I said enough!
Elsa is a ticking time bomb from the start. Her parents spend her entire childhood drilling one message into her head. Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. For years, she bottles up her magic, her fear, her entire personality. The coronation is supposed to be her big moment of control, and she's barely hanging on by a... Then Anna, God bless her, but also Anna, decides this is the perfect time to push every single button. She won't let it go. She keeps pressing, calling Elsa cold, demanding answers about why she's been shut out, and she's doing all of this in front of the entire kingdom. Like Anna, read the room. Your sister is literally shaking, and you're acting like this is the moment for a feelings intervention? And then, because Anna's superpower is genuinely terrible timing, she announces she's marrying a guy she met 5 hours ago. And when she does, it's catastrophic. She doesn't just cry or yell, she freezes the entire kingdom, summer to eternal winter in seconds. As valid as this crash out is, it's rooted in fear, not rage. And fear-driven breakdowns, while real and devastating, don't hit the same as crash outs fueled by grief or revenge.
Buddy?
My name is not Buddy! And it's not Incrediboy either! That ship has sailed! All I wanted was to help you. I only wanted to help! And what did you say to me?
Fly home, buddy. I work alone.
It tore me apart. But I learned an important lesson. You can't count on anyone.
Okay, so Syndrome's crash out is dark, way darker than most on this list. Because this isn't just a moment, it's a complete transformation. When he was Buddy Pond, all he wanted was to be Mr. Incredible's sidekick. That's it. He wasn't some villain in training. He was a lonely, brilliant kid who looked up to Bob like a god, inventing gadgets, sneaking into his car, doing anything to prove he was. And then Bob hits him with, I work alone. And to Buddy, that wasn't just rejection. That was his hero looking him dead in the eyes and telling him he'd never belong in the world he dreamed of. He wasn't worth it, so he crashes out. But here's the thing, his crash out doesn't look like tears or punches. It turns into this cold, calculated obsession that spans decades. He reinvents himself as Syndrome, he builds weapons, he murders superheroes one by one, and every single scheme traces back to that one moment of rejection. Buddy Pine didn't just have a bad day, he died then. The kid who wanted to be a hero was gone, replaced by someone who wanted to burn the entire concept of heroism to the ground. And unlike Bob or Hero, who eventually pulled themselves back from the edge, Syndrome never does. He crosses that line and doesn't look back. After that initial rejection, Syndrome has years to process, to heal, to choose a different path. But he doesn't. He weaponizes his pain instead of confronting it. And while that's terrifying and tragic, it's not the raw, uncontrollable explosion of emotion that defines the best crowds.
I am Megatron!
Man, I love the writing in this movie, because D16's crash out, it's chef's kiss levels of Justified. This guy starts as a miner in the undercity of Cybertron, stuck harvesting energon in a rigid, oppressive system that treats him like he's disposable. He and Orion Pax are best friends, dreaming of something bigger, believing in hope and change. They look up to Sentinel Prime, their leader, their hero. And then they discover the truth. Sentinel has been lying to them, betraying them, using them. Everything D16 believed in? A lie. That's when he crashes out. And this isn't just yelling or throwing a punch, this is a complete identity destruction. The second that betrayal hits, something inside D16 shatters. He doesn't just get angry, he gets dangerous. He kills Sentinel in front of everyone, seizes the cog of Megatron as Prime, and literally rebirths himself as Megatron. D16 isn't just upset, he's crushed by a system that told him he was lesser, that kept him in chains while the elite lived above. And the person enforcing that system? His hero. That's not just disillusionment, that's an existential collapse. His entire identity was built on faith in Sentinel, in the structure of their society. When that crumbles, so does he. And instead of falling into despair, he weaponizes it. He chooses the dark side. He becomes the thing he once would have feared. The movie does such a good job making you hate Sentinel that you're almost rooting for D16 in the moment. But then it hits you. A better society can't start with the violent, public execution of the previous leader.
Do it, Baymax! Destroy him!
Okay, out of all the crash outs on this list, Heroes might be the darkest. But to be honest, it's also the most understandable. We're talking about a kid who lost everything in one night. 1 minute, Heroes at the top of the... He's got his invention, his bright future, his brother. And then Tadashi dies. The only real family he had outside his aunt? Gone. And here's the kicker. They both looked up to Callaghan. They trusted him. So when Hero finds out Callaghan is not only alive, but also responsible for the fire that killed Tadashi, and then this man has the audacity to say Tadashi's death was his own fault? Man, I was offended watching that scene. That's when Hero crashes out. And this isn't just anger. This is vengeance. His pain morphs into pure, unfiltered rage. He doesn't want to stop Callaghan. He wants him gone, erased, dead. So what does Hero do? He pulls out Baymax's healthcare chip, the piece that makes him gentle, protective, the literal heart of who Baymax is. And suddenly this big, huggable robot isn't a friend anymore. He's a weapon. Hero looks Callaghan dead in the eye and gives an order probably no Disney kid has ever given before. Destroy. He basically told his cute best friend to murder this man. He doesn't cross the line. He almost does. He gets right to the edge, but he pulls back.
He wanted the Dragon Scroll, but Oogway saw darkness in his heart and refused. Outraged, Tai Lung laid waste to the valley. He tried to take the scroll by force, and Shifu had to destroy what he had created. But how could he?
Man, they did Tai Lung dirty in this movie, and I'm not gonna lie, his crash out is one of the most understandable on this list. Picture this. You're a little kid who's been training since you could walk, working hard, eating a certain way, sleeping early, dedicating your entire life to one goal. And here's the kicker, it wasn't even your goal. It was your dad's dream that he pushed on you because he saw you had talent. Shifu filled this kid's head with visions of greatness, telling him he's destined to be the Dragon Warrior. Tai Lung trained until his bones cracked. He gave everything, and then the day finally arrives. And Oogway says no. He doesn't just lash out at Shifu or Oogway, he terrorizes the entire Valley of Peace before even going to the Jade Palace. That's where it gets messy, because yeah, his rage is understandable, but taking it out on innocent villagers who had nothing to do with his rejection? That's crossing a line. It's one thing to have beef with someone, but going off on literally everyone else before confronting the person you actually have beef with? That's wild. To me, Tai Lung isn't a villain. He's a broken person who was failed by the one person who should have supported him. Shifu is the real criminal here. But Tai Lung's crash out, while deeply understandable, loses some validity when he starts hurting innocent people.
No! Get away from him! Go on! Get out of here! Get away!
It's not his fault. You know that.
The scene hits after Drago unleashes his Bewilderbeast and takes control of Toothless's mind. Under Drago's command, Toothless fires a plasma blast that kills Stoic. In seconds, Hiccup loses his dad, the person he'd just begun to truly understand and connect with. His grief is overwhelming, but what makes it devastating is that it was Toothless's blast that did it. The dragon who saved his life, who became his best friend, his brother. Toothless killed his father. Of course, Toothless wasn't himself. He was hypnotized. But in that moment, Hiccup's grief blinds him. And to be honest, I get it. His dad just got killed right in front of him. I would probably crash out even worse. Hiccup turns on Toothless, screaming at him, shoving him away, telling him to get out. And man, that hit different. It's that ugly, human reaction of blaming the one closest to you, even when you know deep down it isn't their fault. Anyone who's gone through grief knows how messy it gets. You lash out, you push people away, you say things you don't mean. What makes this crash out so brutal is that we've spent 2 movies watching this perfect bond between them. Hiccup and Toothless are soulmates. They're inseparable. So seeing Hiccup yell at Toothless, seeing that bond shatter even for a moment, man, it literally hurt my heart. Throughout the movie, Joy is struggling. She's trying so hard to keep Riley happy, to maintain control, but the new emotions, especially anxiety, are making everything. Disgust, fear, and anger are giving her a hard time as usual, questioning her decisions, doubting her approach. And Joy's just holding it together, trying to be the positive force she's always been. But then anger calls her delusional, and that's when she snaps. Because Joy has been bottling up her own fear, her own sadness, her own anger this entire time. She's the emotion who's supposed to keep everything light and happy, so she never allows herself to feel anything else. But in that moment, she breaks. She lets it all out. And it's beautiful to finally see someone so kind and optimistic put their foot down. Sure, the way Joy treated Sadness in the first movie pissed everyone off, but everyone agreed with her. He's angry, sad, and scared. All the things she's been trying to suppress because she thinks her job is to just be happy all the time. But you can't sustain that. You can't be positive 24/7 without eventually cracking. And that's what makes this crash out so real. Joy's breakdown isn't about losing control of Riley. It's about losing control of herself. She's been so focused on keeping Riley happy that she forgot she's allowed to feel other things too.
Each and every citizen of Metro had something I didn't. A choice. Ever since I can remember, I've always had to be what the city wanted me to be. But what about what I wanted to do?
Most crash outs are big and messy, explosive, violent, destructive. But Metro Man's? That one is a whole different story. In Megamind, everyone thinks he died in some big explosion staged by his nemesis. But the truth? This man faked the whole thing because he'd already crashed out long before. For years, Metro Man lived as this perfect superhero, always saving the day, always smiling, always carrying the weight of an entire city on his shoulders. He had that golden child syndrome. Everyone loved him, worshipped him, expected him to be this flawless beacon of hope. But deep down, man, he was exhausted, tired of the pressure, tired of the routine, tired of being Metro Man. So when the moment came, he decided he'd had enough. He faked his death, abandoned his city, his duty, his entire identity. That's his crash out. This man literally crashed out so hard that he just gave up his entire self, his entire life. He basically declared himself dead, and then he became a musician. He chose a simple, humble life over being some narcissistic superhero with an iron fist. That's a whole new level of crashing out. Metro Man never got to choose his path. He was born into it. From the moment he landed on Earth, everyone expected him to be perfect, then to sacrifice everything for others. And for a while he did. But burnout is real, man. And when you're carrying that much weight for that long, eventually something breaks.
Harold! Shrek!
Fiona!
Mom! Harold!
Donkey!
I've got Shrek. And yeah, this one still hits me deep because his crash out at that dinner table wasn't just about temper or pride. It was about a guy who spent his whole life being told he's disgusting, unworthy, less than, finally trying to play nice and getting spit on for. The dude put on his best outfit, sat down to have dinner with his wife's family, and really tried to be civil. But Harold wasn't having it. You can see Shrek holding it together, awkwardly smiling, trying to meet him halfway. And then the constant little jabs start landing, the condescension, the disgust, until it finally boils over. That's not immaturity. That's a lifetime of rejection snapping in one night. It's the moment an outcast finally realizes no amount of good manners will earn him acceptance from people who already decided he's less. He breaks down, not because he's weak, but because he's human. Or, well, as human as an ogre can be. And honestly, I don't blame him one bit. If I had to sit through that dinner with a man calling me a monster to my face, I'd have crashed out way sooner.
He got away.
Good thing, too. You were this close to losing your...
Let me paint the picture of why these crash outs are so devastatingly valid. Bob Parr isn't just some guy he's a man who spent his entire life saving people, protecting the innocent, being a hero, and then society told him that was illegal. They took everything that gave his life meaning and shoved him into a cubicle at an insurance company where his literal job is to deny people help they desperately. Imagine that. Imagine spending 15 years working for a boss who screams at you every single day for doing the one thing you're wired to help people. Every day, he's watching sick people get screwed over by the system, and when he tries to help that old lady navigate around the bureaucratic nightmare so she doesn't go bankrupt from medical debt, his boss comes at him for it. And that's when the first crash out happens. Right there in that office. His boss is berating him, pushing him, treating him like he's worthless, and Bob just snaps. He throws him through multiple walls. Multiple walls. This isn't a little outburst. This is 15 years of rage compressed into one moment. This is a man who's been suffocated, who's been forced to be complicit in a system that profits off human suffering, finally saying, enough. But here's the thing, that office crash out, that's just the warm-up. That's the preview, because then we get to the island, and this is where it gets dark. Bob gets lured there, thinking he's getting his life back, thinking he's a hero again, only to discover he's been played like an absolute fool. He's been manipulated, used as a weapon to kill other supers, and now he's staring down his own mortality. Cracks we saw at dinner, the lies to Helen, the sneaking out at night, all of it was building to this moment, the mirage scene. When Bob grabs her and lifts her up, ready to kill her, you see it in his eyes. He's not thinking about consequences. He's not thinking about right or wrong. He's consumed, completely consumed by betrayal. And if Helen's voice hadn't come through that communicator and pulled him back from the edge, I genuinely believe he would have done it. That's how far gone he was in that. That's how deep the second crash out. Hey, totally unrelated, but I've been working on something I think you'll actually find useful. It's called Doc2Data.online. It's this tool I built that turns PDFs and even scanned or handwritten stuff into perfect spreadsheets. No messy columns, no missing decimals. And here's the cool part. You can actually tell the AI exactly which columns to extract, and it keeps everything perfectly lined up the way you need it. Oh, and it's completely free and ad-free. It's been super handy for me, and I think a lot of you might like it too. Clean, accurate spreadsheets in seconds. Link in the description below. Let's talk about what Woody's dealing with. This isn't just jealousy. This isn't just some toy being petty. This is a complete existential crisis happening in real time. Woody has been Andy's favorite years. He's the leader. He's the one Andy reaches for. His entire identity, his entire purpose for existing is built on being Andy's number one. That's not ego. That's literally what he was made for. And then Buzz shows up, and overnight, everything Woody is gets erased. He's not the favorite anymore. He's not the leader. He's not even in the picture. Andy's got Buzz bed sheets. Buzz is sleeping in the... Woody's been demoted to the toy box, and every single day he has to watch this delusional space ranger get everything that used to be his. But here's what makes this crash out so valid. Woody tried to handle it. He tried to keep it together. He tried to be reasonable, but nobody's listening to him. The other toys, they turn on him instantly. When Buzz gets pushed out the window, an accident, Mr. Potato Head and the rest of them are ready to exile him without even hearing his side. These are toys he's been leading for over a decade, and they just don't trust him at all. It's like all those years of loyalty, all those years of looking out for them mean absolutely nothing the second something goes wrong. And then there's Buzz. Buzz, this toy who genuinely believes he's a real space ranger, who thinks his laser is real, who thinks he can fly, and everyone's just going along with it. Woody's watching this mass delusion happen, and he's the only one who sees reality. He's screaming into the void, trying to make Buzz understand the truth, and Buzz just keeps doubling down on the fantasy. And you know what kills me? Even in Toy Story 3, over a decade later, the toys still don't fully trust him. Andy's literally putting them in the attic, not donating them, not throwing them away, just storing them safely. And they're ready to believe Woody's lying to them after everything. After all the times he's saved them, led them, sacrificed for them, they still don't trust him.
Match point! You can just start packing up, honey, because I believe you're about to...
And taking the #1 spot, the most valid crash out in all of animation, we have Ken from B-Movie. And I need you to understand that this man did absolutely nothing. Let me set the scene for you, because this is genuinely insane. Ken comes home after a long day of work. We're talking 12-hour shift, back-breaking hours, the whole 9 yards. And he walks into his apartment expecting a nice dinner with his girlfriend. Instead, what does he see? His girlfriend Vanessa having a romantic candlelit dinner with a bee. Not just any bee, Barry B. Benson, a bee who is actively trying to steal his girl. And Barry's sitting in his chair, at his table, eating his food. I'm not joking when I say if I came home to that, I would genuinely question reality itself. First, his girlfriend breaks up with him for a bee she's known for days. Not weeks, not months. Days. Their relationship gets destroyed by an insect. Then Barry convinces Vanessa to help him sue the entire human race for honey, and she just goes along with it. She becomes a traitor to humanity because a bee she just met told her to. And Ken has to watch this happen. He has to watch his ex-girlfriend side with an insect against her own species. And here's the kicker. Ken is the only normal person in this entire movie. Everyone else just accepts that there's a talking bee walking around, having conversations, wearing tiny clothes, and nobody questions it. But Ken's the only one with a functioning brain asking, why are we okay with this? He's the only one pointing out how absolutely unhinged this situation is. And for that, the movie villainizes him. It makes him look unreasonable. It makes him look jealous and petty when really, he's just a man trying to survive the most absurd, psychologically damaging situation imaginable.